trainer now, very quickly calling over for the medical crews.
I was in shock, like I think the rest of the world. I couldn't believe it.
There were so few details as to what actually was taking place.
It appears an airplane crashed into the World Trade Center.
2001 was a traumatic experience, not only for the country, but for the sport.
I don't know that the industry could go through another roller coaster like that.
The entire 2001 season had just about everything.
I think Dale Earnhardt was in the passenger seat of this car today.
This doesn't give you chill bumps, and you're just not in this world right now.
If that didn't happen, I don't know what would have happened. This is possible. This is doable.
Tomorrow on NBCSN, following live race coverage from Martinsville, a new 60-minute documentary that chronicles a year NASCAR will never forget. Of course, Dale Earnhardt's death at the Daytona 500, Dale Jr.'s stirring win in the July Daytona race, and the sport's passionate reaction to the September 11th attacks. NASCAR seasons 2001. That's tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. on NBCSN. Take a look at the spotters up on top of the press box, and they're keeping their eye on their drivers. Let's go back into the garage and Mike Massaro.
And if you look at the speed chart right now, Rick, one guy stands out, the driver of the one car, Jamie McMurray. It looked like you found a lot of speed there during that practice. What can you tell me about your race car?
Yeah, our Credit One Bank Chevy is really good. We're excited we have First Data on board this weekend. It's a new partner to NASCAR, and hope to have a good run for him. I felt like we had really good initial speed our first run out, maybe a little too loose and built too loose, and then the second run didn't take off as good, but I thought it held on better. So we've saved all of our good tires for when the sun comes out. I don't know that you learn a lot. You're here, so you have to go out and try to find some things. But yeah, overall, pretty good car.
You did turn quite a few laps during that session. Do you expect to run some more long runs in the second session?
Well, the way the tire is, you have to run 25 laps for the car to fall off. You know, typically here, I feel like 10 or 15 laps in, you start to have fall off, and it just hangs on a lot longer. So I just don't feel like you really learn anything unless you stay out there for a while. So I didn't want to run all those laps, but you're trying to learn.
Thanks for your time.
And thank you.
Jamie McMurray, awfully fast here in session one, but as he mentioned, the second session will be a little bit different.
Different temperatures obviously are going to make the cars handle different on this racetrack. Joey Logano has shown speed at every step of the way. Practiced yesterday, qualified second, now second as far as one lap.
Rick, if we look back to last year, Joey Logano sits on the pole, leads a tremendous amount of laps, has his issue with Matt Kenseth in this race that really basically eliminated his championship hopes. And I think this, a year later, a year wiser, Joey Logano has gone on record to say, you know, I could have handled it different, I could have called him, I should have saw him. I don't think either of them are changing their opinion of what they did in the race car. It's outside of the race car that they perhaps would have changed how they handled the situation. But this 22 team has to be looking for this as an opportunity to kind of truly put that all the way behind them. Come here, win in advance, would really close the book on that whole story.
And I believe this is their best chance to win in the next three races. I think that what we've seen so far from them this year, that the mile and a halfs really aren't, they don't have the speed that some of the other guys do. So this race right here could mean whether they're going to go to Homestead or not. So I expect to see a really good race from Logano and put himself in position to win this race. We'll see if they can or not, but I think it's a huge race for them.
That ends the second practice. Red flags being displayed. Here are the chasers, the 8 drivers, all inside the top 16. We know it's going to be heated tomorrow, not only the temperature being in the 80s at Martinsville, but also the pressure to try to advance to the championship 4 at Miami. And someone could take that next step if they are able to get the win at Martinsville tomorrow afternoon. We'll return to Martinsville for Sprint Cup final practice at 12 p.m. Eastern. Coverage will begin on the NBC Sports app, then be joined at 12:30 p.m. on NBCSN, following this morning's Premier League action. After that, premiere of the 3rd episode of Drive on NBC Sports, and Formula One will qualify at 2 p.m. from Mexico City.